Good
Good
morning.
morning, ladies. Good
Good morning.
morning.
How's everybody doing?
Awesome this morning.
I won't complain. Doing good, doing good. So,
Okay.
yeah, welcome everyone to our show today. I am Monica Love, your financial strategist and real estate broker, honey.
I'm Morgana, a mm, tax strategist and financial mentor.
Okay.
Mhm.
I am Carolyn Leak, one of your financial strategists and community leaders.
And I am Rosalind Marie, your financial wellness and birth coach. And I help families from the time that they come into the earth until the time that they leave the earth and beyond.
All right. All right.
All right
So
now.
today we are going to be talking about how women build wealth, right? How do women build wealth? And as we get into the conversation around how women are building wealth and navigating their finances, one of the things that we are always talking about is that finances, being wealthy, is a mindset before it's an asset. So that's one of the things I think that is key to women building wealth. Yeah.
Absolutely. And of course, speaking of mindset, we have to speak of our best selling book,
Yes.
Design Your Wealth Mindset,
Mhm.
with
Yes.
Yes.
nuggets, tips. And one of the things that comes to mind for me, at least, with defining a wealth mindset is defining wealth to begin with. What is wealth?
Yourself as wealthy. What does that how does that make you feel when you say it?
Right. Because for years, women have been behind the eight ball as it relates to wealth, as it relates to building wealth, right? We have been told and talked to about, getting married, getting a good man in order to have our wealthy uh, assets. But how do we do that in this day and age, right? How do we
Mhm.
do that? And I don't know if Morgana is able to talk, but we were talking offline about the story about what's his name, Offset and
Offset and
Cardi
Cardi
B.
B.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
You know, she was I remember, just full disclosure, when she came out, and I was like, who is Cardi B? And it was just all this hype around her.
Yeah.
But as I learned about her a bit more, I became to respect her because she started with nothing and
Mhm.
she used stripping to save money. Then she took some exposure she had during that career and went into rapping, became very savvy, and now is one of the wealthiest rappers, female rappers or entertainers out there. And she started by using exactly what she has and then built wealth. And I like to hear some of her stories where she's talking and she's like, I still shop at Target. Or you see her with that, I can't even think of the name of that wine that you pour out the bottle. She's still relatable and
Mhm.
wealthy.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I'll dive in. I was going to say I'm going to go back to the point that Morgana made earlier about what is wealth, because I really think that there's not a one size fits all definition to wealth, and I believe that what you have to do is definitely stop for a moment and define what that means for you. Because when you think of wealth, I mean, the first thing that we think about is riches, right? Having things and stuff and
Mhm.
money. Bank accounts and pockets just flowing with cash. But that's not necessarily well for everyone, right? And it definitely starts with a mindset, right? And we dive into that in our book that Morgana mentioned, Design Your Wealth Mindset. But I also want to take us back a little bit because your wealth mindset oftentimes is dictated based on how you were brought up, right? Whether you were brought up and your family might have been struggling, or whether you kind of what we call a silver spoon child, where you were given everything you wanted, right? And so your ideal of wealth could really be on a spectrum, but it's really important for you to come up what that means for you. I'm also going to say what it means for a woman, a wealthy woman also could look like what happened in your family. Because if your mother wasn't necessarily wealthy or didn't come from riches, you might not even have the language of wealth. Yeah.
Yeah. That
I want
mindset
to touch.
is important. Go
I
ahead.
want to touch on what you just said, more, Rosalind. It just kind of triggered me on. I think the last Thanksgiving that my whole family was together when my father was living, he just stood back and said he was a wealthy man, but it
Mm.
wasn't about, as you say, money and riches. It was about his family. He just
Yeah.
looked over the fact that his whole family was there, and he felt like he was a wealthy man. I'm a wealthy man, and it's
Mhm.
about, so again, it's about how you visualize that, how you see yourself, right?
Right.
Go ahead.
Sure.
I think that is an aspect of it. Wealth in terms of family, but also health, spiritual wealth.
Mm.
From a practical perspective, though, in terms of measuring wealth, one of the, I guess, most profound definitions I heard comes from The Millionaire Next Door.
Mhm.
Now, we're all
Mm.
familiar with net worth, and that's simply where you take all of your assets and then total your liabilities, subtract your asset from your liabilities to get your net worth. But in The Millionaire Next Door, he brings up this concept called expected net worth. Here's a formula:
Uh-huh.
you take your salary,
Uh-huh.
multiply it by your age, and then divide it by 10.
Mm.
Hmm.
And as an example, we speak of a character named Tina in our book, Design Your Wealth Mindset. She's introduced in chapter 1. And if we take a look at her assets minus her liabilities, it's $67,000, which for a woman in her 50s is low, right? But her expected net worth is $600,000, which is even more profound.
Mm.
Mm.
Love that there's a formula, right? Because some of us are linear thinkers and some of us
Mhm.
need a specific strategy, right? And that's literally what the exit strategists do for you. So we help you find that financial strategy that works for you, because as I mentioned before, there is no just one way to do that, right? And
Right.
so, as Morgana mentioned, so you mentioned the formula is you said your sound. No, I just wanted to reiterate because there may be people listening, so I'm going to kind of reinforce that your salary divided by your age times 10. Is that right?
No, no. Your
Okay.
salary times your age,
Times your okay.
then divide that by 10.
Ah, got it. Okay.
And here, let's also take it a step further to make it relevant how women build wealth through saving and investing, changing your mindset first. But why is it important to build wealth? That wealth is what's going to sustain you when you can't make money.
Mhm.
And how long would $600,000 last, Tina? Depended on how much money she wanted to live with monthly in retirement. And if it was $3,000 a month, I remember talking to a client and I gave her that number. She was like, "That's poverty. She might get 10 years."
Yeah.
Right? But the reality
Yeah.
is, people are coming to us with far less than that, ladies. What do you say?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
They are, because the path towards wealth, and again, that means a whole bunch of different things, but that
Yeah.
path is not always straightforward, right? So knowing how to get there, being intentional about how to get there is very important, especially for us as women, or men too, though, but we're talking and focusing on women. So I'll say for us as women, we have to make sure that we're intentional about the barriers that we face, like the gender pay gap. We talk about that in the book. How do you overcome that? And one thing that's very important is that when we have a gender pay gap during the years where we're earning income, when we're no longer able to earn income, as Morgana stated, which is those retirement years, when we're in those years, because our Social Security will have been built based on the income that we did earn while we were working, right? So that's still going to be less than it would be for someone who earned more because of that gender pay gap. So being intentional and understanding some of the dynamics that shape our current income and our current ability to earn now is important.
Yeah, I was going to say, Monica, there's a couple of things that came up as you were speaking, because oftentimes in a traditional family, and I'm going to say traditional Christian family, right? Because, we can debate all day long. Oftentimes the father, the dad is the breadwinner, right? And many of us were raised with that thought process and that concept. And many of us as believers, we have a hard time, even if you're a single woman, right? With building that wealth, building that income. And it's interesting because when I think about it, although I was raised in a household with mom and dad, it's like when I got married, one of the things that we did, we were strategic in meeting. We would have monthly family meetings and we would talk about our mission and we would talk about our goals, because as I mentioned before, sometimes your money story can really keep you stagnant depending on what information you were fed. And so when you are in a relationship and you do get married, it's important to sit down and strategize and not just allow one person in that relationship to hold the information around how you run your family, because guess what, there's a bigger chance of you being disabled than you dying. And so, my God, if the main breadwinner is injured or they can no longer go to work and you have no idea how to make sure that the bills are being paid, something is going to fall for your family and you do not want to do that. But there are strategies that you can put in place so that, again, you're not left behind in the dark. Ladies.
And you just said a mouthful when you talked about that. Um, there's more of a chance of being unable to work
Yep.
than there is of dying. And immediately what came to my mind is living benefits that a lot of people don't have
Yes.
and a lot of people need. The notion is, I believe the number is 70% of us, right around a 77% of us will need long-term care at some point in our lives.
Yeah.
And how many of us actually have it? And the cost of that long-term care monthly averages right around $6,000-7,000 a month. That's why you have to have those coverages in place to make sure. I don't think we intended to go down that path of coverages and stuff, but it's real, right?
Mhm.
And we're talking about building wealth, and that's one of the fastest ways to deplete our wealth is
Yeah,
because of a medical emergency that we're not prepared for.
for sure.
Right. Because that salary is no longer there, right? That salary that you depend on is now no longer there. So you have to be prepared. Intentionally is what we use. That's the word we use, right? Intentionally about how we budget, how we do things, right? So
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
this is the time to look at what you're doing.
yeah.
Are you prepared? And if you're not, we're here to help, right?
Right, right. And preparation is everything, honey. When Rosalind was talking about her parents and how, the man is of course the breadwinner, I thought about my parents and I said to myself, y'all don't get me out there, but I said to myself, child, they just don't make men like they used to.
You can say that again. You can
because
say that
because
again.
the man was the breadwinner. I mean, and he took care and you didn't have to worry.
It's hard out here in these single streets, let me tell you, because when I think about it, right, we didn't have any issues with paying the bills. You know what I mean? And if my parents had issues with it, we didn't necessarily know about it. They may have had some arguments around it, but we had food. The lights were on. Thank God we were blessed in the midst of that. But what I also want to remind people is, Carolyn mentioned that we have tools. We have a spending tool that we can use and that we can actually share with you. And so we're actually going to put that in the link somewhere below so that we're just not talking out the side of our necks, right? We have tools that you can put these strategies in place so that you can win. We don't want to be all, dim and trim, but we want to make sure that you know that you can start today, even if you feel like you started behind, because some of us did. I feel like I would be further ahead had I gotten this information in advance, but I got it now and I'm on the right track now. And that is what the exit strategies will put in place for you. So you want to make sure that you stay connected with us.
Yeah.
Morgana, did you have something?
Yes, thank you. You were reading my mind. When I talk to my clients, I like to normalize where we are. And naturally, we are not good savers. Naturally, we aren't good with making financial decisions, but we can override those instincts. So when I normalize that, I tell my clients, if you're not ready for retirement, that's okay. But it is not okay to not get ready for retirement. And building wealth is a key part of retirement,
Mm-hmm.
as we talked about earlier. So, again, if you're not ready for retirement, that is okay. But it is not okay to not get ready. So, if you're feeling like you aren't, reach out to any one of the exit strategists and we'll help you get ready.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
sure. For sure. I wanna put a pin in this. We did not say this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, right? We are in the month of October. And for those people that are watching this on replay, I just want to send a shout out to those breast warriors who have come through. We also want to give reverence to the ones that we've lost because, again, we are women, we are Black women, and we do unfortunately die from breast cancer more than anyone else. So make sure that you get the tatas checked out because that's really, really important. However, but I also want to put a pin in this as well. Monica touched on this briefly about living benefits, right? And so if you do have a life insurance plan, do you have living benefits that could take care of you if you were to get cancer or stroke or you had some kind of debilitating disorder? We want to let you know that you can do that and you can actually bundle that in a life insurance plan. So I just wanted to make sure I shouted out for Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, thank you for
Also,
doing that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, not knowing is not an excuse because we are here. We are here to help. There are a multitude of ways in which we help women build wealth, from investing to build business ownership, to workshops we have to give you education.
Mhm,
Education is key, KEY, keep educating yourself.
mhm.
And when it comes to finances, the relationship that we have with our money is pivotal in knowing where we're going to be in the next decade.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's be intentional, you guys. Our time is up here on this particular episode. But listen, subscribe, like, and share. Yes. I,
Yep.
I almost felt like, who is that? Subscribe, like, and share. Oh my. Goldilocks or something. I don't know. My head goes into
I love that. I love that. And of course, go to Amazon and buy our book is there. We have a book and a workbook that you can
Yes.
use for yourself and your girlfriends. Y'all doing these retreats. Get our book. Take our book on your retreat and y'all can
yeah.
retreat about developing a wealthy mindset for women, right? Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And not just take our book, but invite us along.
Yeah.
You know, we do speaking engagements. If you need someone to come out to your church, to your corporation, to help your employees know, because a happy, healthy employee is a good employee, right?
Yeah.
So if you are
Absolutely.
in a executive role at your organization, the exit strategy will come out and we will speak volumes to your employees. If you're in a church, we'll help your congregation understand endowments, helping
Mhm.
the church to last a long time, right? So whatever your need or your desire is concerning wealth and finances for your organization, for yourself, for your family, let's get it, y'all. Let's go.
Right. All right. Thank you for
All
joining
right.
us. Have a great day, y'all.
Bye
Have a
bye.
good one. Bye.